What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Fantasy Fellow Show. Today it is September 25th. We have a Monday Night Football doubleheader going on this evening. I'm going to get you guys ready, though, for the waiver wire in week 4. This is just going to be a kind of a quick little teaser video for the waiver wire. It's Monday night. We're going to get ready for this. And I do plan on doing a live waiver wire stream. If you guys want to do a live stream tomorrow evening, Tuesday, 7 p.m. Central Time, that's when I'm going to be able to go over everything with a little bit more detail and answer any of your questions that you guys may have. But for now, we're just going to go to thefantasyfellowship.com. You can scroll on down here and hit Waiver Wire Report, or you can find it in the content tab. And let's see what I got brewing here for you guys, because the waiver wires were really juicy the first couple weeks. Not so much this weekend, but we'll find some guys for you. We'll get you guys hooked up. There are some injuries to monitor here, and that's what we're going to start with here. At the quarterback position, you have Joe Burrow with that calf injury. Still not sure if he's going to play tonight in Monday night's game, but we'll see what we can find. Anthony Richardson, he's going to be probable with a concussion. Derek Carr, likely out a few weeks. It sounds like it wasn't a season-ending surgery or anything needed like that. He's got an AC joint sprain, so we're going to be talking about Jameis Winston on the quarterback spot. Jimmy Garoppolo, he did finish the game, but he did have a concussion, so he's going to be questionable for week 4. And then Bryce Young, still not sure if we're going to see him with that ankle injury, but we'll monitor his practice reports for the week. Overall, Derek Carr had the worst of it, but not too bad for the quarterbacks this weekend. A lot of guys that are still injured as far as running backs go. That is Saquon Barkley, questionable with an ankle injury. Probably not going to see him, but you never know. We'll watch his practice reports throughout the week. You got Aaron Jones with a hamstring. He does play on Thursday Night Football, and they held him out on Sunday against the Saints. So I'm thinking he's going to play. He did practice in a limited capacity today, so it's looking good for Jones. Montgomery also practiced with a limited tag today. He plays on Thursday night against the Packers. Thigh injury. I think he's going to be okay. Gus Edwards concussion. We'll watch for his reports throughout the week. He's going to be in the protocols here. Now, Justice Hill missed yesterday with a foot injury. I'm not sure if he's going to play this weekend. We'll watch for him and Gus Edwards. Ravens backfield will be one to monitor all week. Salvin Ahmed, they didn't need him. Mostert and Devon Achane and the rest of the team showed up, but we'll keep an eye on Salvin Ahmed here. Deebo Samuel, he played great on last Thursday Night Football, but he's questionable with a rib injury. I think he's going to be fine, but we just needed to note that he's got a rib thing. Jalen Waddle, concussion. He's probably going to play week 4. I have him listed as probable. Brandon Ayuk didn't play week 3. It was a short week for them coming on into the Thursday night game. I have him as probable for week 4. Mike Williams, man. We're gonna have to pour one out for Mike Williams. He was one of my favorite picks this year. Had him on a lot of my best ball teams, but season-ending knee injury for Mike Williams. We'll talk about his replacement at the wide receiver position. Christian Watson, hamstring, questionable for Thursday Night Football. He did not practice today on Monday. We'll see about tomorrow, Tuesday. Odell Beckham, ankle, questionable. Zay Jones, questionable with a knee. Jonathan Mingo left week 3 with a concussion. Terrace Marshall filled in for him there. And then Rashad Bateman, questionable with a hamstring. And then the tight ends, Irv Smith, questionable with a hamstring. He's not playing tonight, so maybe he's back week 4. We're not really talking about him on the waiver wire, though. And then Logan Thomas, questionable. So those are all your major injuries. I might have missed one or two. Again, I'm going to probably have more depth on this. If you guys want to watch this, check out there's a link in the description with this article on there if you guys want to come check it out. And then I'm going to start doing this more where I have just my favorite ads. This is kind of just like a quick little hit list. Favorite quarterbacks, if you want, and this is kind of in order of how I would add them. Purdy, Love, Stroud. Jordan Love's looking amazing. Brock Purdy, super safe and reliable every week. And then CJ Stroud, wow, he's having a great start to his rookie season. A lot of passing numbers there for him. Running backs, Devon Achane. And apparently we've been saying it wrong. It's Devon Achane. Roshan Johnson, Kendra Miller. So I love the rookie running backs. If they're available, grab one of these guys. Receivers, Tank Dell, Josh Palmer, Romeo Dobbs, Jaden Reed, Quentin Johnston, and Josh Downs. And then at tight end, Ferguson, Musgrave, Cade Otton. And then let's get right into the quarterbacks here. I do have a list of guys that should be rostered for you in your 10 or 12-man leagues. If any of these guys are available, please go ahead and pick them up. They would be a top priority. Otherwise, if you need to stream Russell Wilson at Chicago, it's fine. I get it. The Broncos kind of stink right now. I don't really know if I want to trust that. I do really like Brock Purdy, though, at home against Arizona. If you're streaming a quarterback, Brock Purdy is the guy. Jared Goff at Green Bay, it's a decent matchup, but he struggled in the 2 games against Green Bay last year. A lot of people don't realize that, but the Packers defense did kind of have the Lions numbers. They were both low-scoring games. Not in love with Jared Goff. I think I'd rather play Jordan Love, where that's going to probably be where a lot of the points come from for the Packers offense. I like Jordan Love. at home against Detroit. The Packers have some momentum coming off that big come from behind win. And then otherwise, like Matthew Stafford's nice against the Colts. Maybe Kenny Pickett against Houston. Probably not Baker Mayfield at New Orleans. Jimmy Garoppolo, we got to see about his concussion. Sam Howell, super flex leagues, but I'm not really interested in him in 1 QB leagues. We'll see about Bryce Young. I got CJ Stroud listed here versus Pittsburgh. That's more of like a desperation play. Obviously, if you can play Purdy or Love, I'm going to do that. But we'll see about CJ Stroud against Pittsburgh. Not interested in Mac Jones, Ryan Tannehill, Desmond Ridder, Zach Wilson. Say no to these guys here. That's just for if they were dropped in a super flex league, sure. And then I have some deep sleepers here. Gardner Minshew should probably just be stashed in super flex leagues. He looked good. If anything happens to Anthony Richardson, you got a starter there. Josh Dobbs should be added. Only 1.1% owned here on ESPN. Andy Dalton might get the start this week. He's still worth stashing. And then keep an eye on Jacoby Brissett. If Howell continues to turn the ball over and look bad, we might see Jacoby Brissett at some point this year. Mike White's just listed here in case something happens to Tua. Taylor Heineke in case Desmond Ridder underperforms. And then you got Jameis Winston here. He is the super flex must add of the week. He's probably going to get about a month to play. And he can be your QB2 starting right away against Tampa Bay. And then you have Aiden O'Connell and Brian Hoyer. These are the Raiders backups in case Jimmy Garoppolo can't go. But again, I really like Jameis Winston as the super flex ad of the week. Otherwise, I'm looking at Love and Purdy as your typical 1 QB leagues. Now, moving on to the running back position, you have guys that are still high owned here, and I get it. But if Jalen Warren's out there, I like him long-term over Najee. It's looking bad for Antonio Gibson. He might be droppable soon. Kareem Hunt played more than I anticipated in his first game with the Browns, so keep an eye on Kareem Hunt. If anyone cuts Gus Edwards, I think he can be their primary ball carrier still. We'll see what the split is tonight between Kenneth Gainwell and DeAndre Swift. I still think Gainwell's going to be a part of the offense, so he's going to be probably worth an ad this week if he's out there. McKinnon, we're never going to feel good starting McKinnon, but he did catch 2 touchdowns yesterday, so if you need running back help, I think he's a fine guy to put on your bench. Zeke Elliott looked okay yesterday. He actually outperformed Ramondre Stevenson. He's worth a stash, especially in standard or half PPR leagues. And then keep Zach Charbonnet, man. Like, I know Kenneth Walker's balling out right now, but if anything happens to Walker, Charbonnet has looked decent. And then Elijah Mitchell, just a handcuff here. Devin Singletary, a handcuff. I do like adding Roschon Johnson. The numbers are looking good for Roschon. I think he's going to be the primary guy at some point soon. I know it's a kind of a dumpster fire for the Chicago Bears, so at some point they're going to want to see what Roschon can do, and he's worth adding at this point as a bench guy or maybe an emergency RB2 play. If anyone cuts Justice Hill, I like stashing him. Matt Breida is going to continue to get the start while Saquon Barkley's out. Chuba Hubbard's here just in case Miles Sanders gets hurt. I think Chuba Hubbard is the clear next man up. And then Kendre Miller, man. I thought he looked pretty decent against the Packers' run defense yesterday. They didn't get him a full complement of snaps as it was his first game of the season, coming off of a knee and a hamstring injury here. But I do expect Kendre Miller to continue to get some run with the first team unit. And I know AK-41's back, but I expect some kind of split between Miller and Kamara. Tank Bigsby just found a way to score a touchdown, didn't get a lot of play time. Tajay Spears is interesting, though, because he played more than Derrick Henry yesterday. He's a PPR bench stash, I guess. And then Devon Achane. I think that's how he wants it pronounced, Achane. So we'll see about him, but pick him up if you can. I don't know if we're going to be able to start him with confidence. I kind of want to see more of him, but he's definitely worth a hold, and he's the top priority pickup for running backs this weekend. So Devon Achane, I think that's how he wants it pronounced. And then just some deep stash handcuffs at running back for you. Clyde Edwards-Helaire looked good yesterday. Rico Dowdle looked good. Latavius Murray looked good. We'll see Sean Tucker tonight in the Monday Night Football game. And then Keontae Ingram, still not sure who the backup is in Arizona. Melvin Gordon got some run with the top injury backs in Baltimore. We'll see if Trayvon Williams can do anything tonight with the Bengals. Still have Salvon Ahmed listed here, Jaleel McLaughlin, Kenyon Drake, Gary Brightwell, Zach Evans. We'll see about him tonight too. And then Trey Sermon actually was the RB2 for the Colts, so keep an eye on him. And then, guys, A.J. Dillon's just not it. I think Patrick Taylor, he might be a guy worth adding in deep formats league, especially dynasty leagues. He might be the RB2 there at some point. But that's the running backs. Let's move on to the wide receivers real quick. Just some quick notes at the top. Sky Moore, Traylon Burks, Tutu Atwell. I don't know why Tutu is so low owned. I know Kupp's coming back, but he still has a role in this offense. So if those guys are out there, I like them a lot. Adam Thielen, man, he had a great, fantastic throwback game He's a priority ad if he's available. And Elijah Moore, man, like he's been getting some targets. He looks like a staple in that offense. And with Nick Chubb out, they're going to continue to lean on the short passing game. They also give Elijah Moore carries and kind of move him all around in the backfield. So I like Elijah Moore as a sleeper pickup. Quentin Johnston is well owned here, 46.6%, but I actually like Josh Palmer better, who's at the bottom of the list. I do think Quentin Johnston needs to be picked up, though. We'll see what happens with this Chargers offense going forward without Mike Williams. Rondell Moore popped off for a touchdown. Zay Jones, he's going to be back soon. Michael Gallup did decent week 3, finally had a nice game. DJ Chark, though, man, he looks like a difference maker for the Carolina Panthers. I kind of just wished Andy Dalton would keep playing for the sake of the rest of the team here, but DJ Chark should be worth a bench stash here. Some veterans, Tyler Boyd, Kendrick Bourne, Josh Reynolds should still be on rosters here, so make sure he's not available. Rashid Shaheed had the punt return, but he didn't get really involved in the offense. Romeo Doubs is just way under-owned here, 27%. Make sure Romeo Doubs is not available. Osborne continues to make plays in a pass-heavy Vikings offense, but the pickup of the week is Tank Dell, and unfortunately, he's going to cost a lot of money in free agent auction bidding. He is the wide receiver pickup of the week. I still think, man, he's had 2 fantastic games back-to-back. I think he's the Houston Texans' #1 wide receiver. He's probably going to continue to lead them in receptions and targets. Jaden Reed still looks really good. He actually could have had a bigger day, but he dropped a touchdown and a couple other plays. Reed does look really good, though, for the Packers. And then Marvin Mims, man, he's like the only thing that's consistent for the Broncos, and he keeps showing up in the box score. We expect his plate to continue to get more put on it. Rashid Rice actually had been tackled twice at the 1-yard line. He could have had 2 touchdowns yesterday. He's a nice stash. And then Josh Downs, man, it looks like he's completely taken over the #2 target role for Indianapolis. He does have more value when Gardner Minshew's playing, but nonetheless, Calvin Austin, Michael Wilson, some interesting bench guys here. And then Wan'Dale Robinson, man, like it was his first game back last weekend, and he played decent, man. He had a lot of targets in the routes that he ran. He's a sleeper PPR play. Nelson Aguilar, I think, is the wide receiver 2 going forward for the Ravens. And then if you can't get tanked out, go get Josh Palmer. Josh Palmer is going to be probably the #1 waiver wire ad across most leagues this weekend. I expect him to be the #2 wide receiver for the Chargers in terms of snaps and routes and probably targets. He's the better stash over Quentin Johnston, and he's honestly probably a wide receiver 3 flex going forward for the rest of the year. So I love Josh Palmer. If you can't get tanked out, go get Josh Palmer. Some of the other guys we talked about. Tight ends here, not really too much to note about here. Sam Laporta needs to be owned, of course. He's probably a top 10 tight end the rest of the season. So I love Laporta. I think at this point, you just continue starting him. Hunter Henry still needs to be owned. I still want to hold Dalton Kincaid. Gerald Everett's going to get a little bit of a boost for me. Same with Donald Parham. Because of the injury to Mike Williams, we might see more two tight end sets for the Chargers. But otherwise, like the guys that are mostly available are Jake Ferguson and Luke Musgrave. I think both these guys are low tight end ones. The rest of the way, we'll monitor Noah Fant and then Cade Otton tonight on the waiver wire. But not a lot of tight ends to talk about here, but those would be the guys that I'm looking for. And then my defenses this week, man, I know the top defenses are already pretty much owned here, but 49ers in a smash spot, the Cowboys in a smash spot. I like the Saints to rebound against Tampa Bay. I love the Steelers at Houston. You got to start the Cleveland Browns, man. They're one of the best defenses in the league right now. Philadelphia is a good play against Washington. But the pickup of the week is Kansas City. They might be owned already, but against the Jets, fantastic spot here. And then the sleepers are Tampa Bay at New Orleans and Cincinnati at Tennessee. I'll add more defenses to this list tomorrow, but that's it. That's the quick waiver wire rundown for you guys in week number 4. Join us tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Central Time. I'll be doing a live show for about an hour. Come get your waiver wire questions asked. I'll go over any of the notes and stuff that I have coming out tomorrow, but that's going to do it for me. Subscribe if you're new. Check out the fantasyfellowship.com. Links in the bio, in the description. And yeah, guys, enjoy the Monday night games. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Peace.